cosmology, and culture, hit subscribe and make sure to hit the bell icon. And if you're interested in helping keeping this channel alive and going, you can join our growing community at patreon.com/themedicineshell. As a thank you to my patrons have access to an in-house Debia, the digital 13-moon Odinani calendar that our ancestors used, with its 4-day week, 13 moons or months, and different rites and rituals throughout the year, as well as my digital library, which has close to 400 documents, ebooks, articles, journals, and other insights and studies, which I use for my own research. All of this is available at patreon.com/themedicineshell. And for those who are interested in learning how to pray the way our ancestors did, and specifically in the Igbo language, I've published a very short, easy to follow step-by-step booklet on how to perform Igofo. Igofo is important in family protection, spiritual cleansing, serving and receiving justice and success. And I understand that everybody doesn't speak Igbo, so I've included a pronunciation guide as well as translations from English to Igbo for every phrase. This is available at patreon.com/themedicineshell at all tiers. Human beings, the third use of Ajahn is in the paying of a cosmic debt, as footpaths are manifestations of Ete, or the cosmic strings connecting the universe. Footpaths and Ete both lead to the station of exchange, which in a community is symbolized by the markets. As Ete carries energy, the footpaths carry the people, who themselves are the energy of a community, and carriers of the currency, or means of exchange of the market. Currency, in all senses, meaning what is necessary for one person or one party to animate action or effect from another, what something is willing to receive in order to do your will. And therefore, a community acknowledges whatever animates movement from another party as currency. When an individual enters a market, they will give the currency of that market in order to get what the receiver is offering, or get the receiver to do something in exchange. And both currency and blood are solid and liquid manifestations of energy and will. To understand Ajahn being used to pay cosmic debt, it is important to remember that currency or money is a unit of energy that is only as powerful as it is able to create effect. It is also important to remember that not all receivers take the same currency. Some things will need to be bought in naira. Others need to be bought in pounds. Others need to be bought in dollars, depending on the location you are buying the item from. And this law applies on a universal level. For this reason, not all spirits and not all Abara take blood. Some require water. Others may take honey. There are instances where they will take tree pulp. Some will take nzu, which itself is a solid form or solid representation of the same force that is water. But often when there's a cosmic debt to be paid, or a certain Abara is approached in order to procure a service, those who are the keepers of the Abara, or a ritual expert such as a Dibia or an Ezenwai, will be the person to tell you what the spirit or Abara is willing to receive. It is also important to note that an individual in the traditional sense does not go to an Abara for no reason, or just to, hang out there or worship or whatever you call it. Specific problems call for the services of specific Abara, the way car problems call for a visit to the mechanic, and plumbing problems call for a call to the plumber. But Abara exists primarily as a problem-solving center, as far as human use goes. So they are more comparable to a courthouse, where you go to if you have a case, or a university, where you go to if you want to learn, or anything you go to that has a specific function, rather than a temple or a mosque or a church where there is a religious obligatory duty to go or expectation to go regularly to affirm one's faith. Each Ajahn is therefore performed to procure a service from an Abara. It is also used in paying a cosmic debt owed to a spirit or Abara. Now I want to be very clear about this because it's something that I'm seeing a lot of modern day Dibias and so forth do that I find kind of annoying. You do not have a debt, or you have not committed an offense against any force that you yourself are not aware of. And there has never been a time in our tradition where you have to appease things that you know damn well that you did not offend, you did nothing to, right? So for example, I had a cousin who recently had a car accident with Eke Njaba, or a python from the Njaba River. Now, if you've watched my video Sacred Animals Explained, part 1 and 2, which I've linked below, you'll understand that Ekenjaba, or the python, is connected to the spirits of Nemiri, or whatever the river is in the community, as well as Anna. And in many Igbo communities, it is a taboo to kill them. Now, he had a car accident and he killed Ekenjaba, but because he's a Christian, he refused to do the proper sacraments or pay the cosmic debt for the crime he had committed. And I kid you not, for the past few weeks, he's been having what looks like diabetes or extreme inflammation from what looks like diabetes, but he's not a diabetic, and he has no history of it. There's no history of it in his family and so forth, just a lot of swelling. And so people are telling him to, even if he goes to the hospital, he still needs to appease for the offense that he committed. But, that's a back and forth right now. So I don't know what he's going to end up doing and so forth. Now, this is an example of when an appeasement is necessary, because it seems the word appeasement is very popular in Nigeria. But I think it gets used out of context, right? If you're being told that you have to appease this and appease that, and you know that you did nothing wrong or you did nothing to offend said spirits, then you're probably being misled. Think of the Abara and think of Mo, or spirits, as people or members of a community. So if I came to you and said you need to go appease your neighbor and you haven't done anything wrong to them, then you don't have to regard what I'm saying. But if you broke your neighbor's car windows one day and the police tell you that you need to pay a fine or pay restitution to your neighbor, it's the exact same thing. So again, I don't know why the online Debia community is really into this word appeasement. But if you're being told you have to appease something that you know very well you did not offend, you're probably being misled. Now, if you are being told to appease something and the advice resonates with you and it feels like truth, then, go ahead and do it. But one major reason I make these videos is so that when people are interfacing with our traditions, they have something to reference or counterbalance what they're hearing. But it's ultimately up to you whether you want to listen to me or you want to just be appeasing things up and down. Anyways, back to the video. Ichuaja is used to reestablish peace where a peace has been breached, similar to the Oji, which is used in establishing peace when a cord has been broken between two communities or two people, or even two families. And I'll explain the connection between Oji and Aja shortly. In repaying debts, Aja is also used in substitution. In Igbo cosmology, the universe is reciprocal, and all things in the universe have a give and take nature to them, an action and reaction and cause and effect, which ultimately inclines all things towards balance. In the realm of justice, this principle is known as Ofonogu. The Ofo is justice, rights, and authority given to a person, often in physical form, as the Ofo staff of authority, and is held by anybody who is a custodian of something else, be it a household, a family, a title, a social responsibility, a business, or a gift, such as healing, crafting, singing, and in my own case, teaching. The Ofo is the responsibility and power that come into the universe together, and in modern times has been encapsulated by the Spider-Man motto, with great power comes great responsibility. And with that power and authority, as well as a vow to uphold the principles of the Ofo that you hold, comes its balancing principle, which is Ogun. Ogun is the rights that come with being in righteous standing of a principle connected to your Ofo. In the activation or acquisition of an Ofo, there is an oath taken to uphold the principles of that Ofo, which are usually a list of virtues and laws you will live by, so long as you are the holder of the Ofo. The balancing principle of the Ofo is Ogun. When an individual is in righteous standing with the Ofo and has followed the principles of their Ofo, they receive what is known as Ogunoma, or good Ogun, which affords them the protection and continued flow of the power from their chi to their body, which allows them to execute the given task that the Ofo stands for. But Ogun is also the punishment or reciprocal balancing nature that strikes a person when they violate the principles of their Ofo. The Ofo is God's trust, which is given to you when Chukwu hands you a part of creation to look after, and Ogun is God's retribution, or the loss of that trust, once you have fallen short of expectations and violate the trust by breaking the virtues of the Ofo. And in general, it is what balances out changes within the universe, or a change in the state of nature. So when an individual violates an Ofo, be it an accord between two people, or an accord between themselves and their community, such as a crime, or violates an accord between themselves and a spirit, or themselves and the universe, some practitioners believe that the Ogun of their violation which is punishment or the exactment of a debt owed to justice, can be transferred onto an animal as a part of the retribution process. This animal is then killed so that the death or punishment that awaits the person that enacted the violation is transferred into the animal or exacted by the animal, and thus rebalances the scale of justice, known as Ofonu Ogun. Now, one of my patrons gave a brilliant example of this. So we have this Odinani group chat in the Patreon. If you're interested, join at patreon.com/The Medicine Show. And where we just discuss these ideas. We pick a different topic once every 2 weeks, and we kind of have a round table where we're all discussing and things like that. And so he had brought up the idea or that fact that he sees sacrifice similar to a crash test dummy, right? So if you build a vehicle and you want to know if a human being can survive impact or what impact would do to a human being, the cost of that knowledge is actual damage to a human body, right? So you'd have to put a human being in there, run the experiments, crash, and then the human being will get damaged, and you'll see what kind of damage this type of situation has in store for a person. So in this situation, you are asking the universe for wisdom. Now, earlier I had said that a lot of times when we do manifestations and prayers and so forth, we ask for something and we receive it. But when the negative end of what we receive starts activating, or when we receive both of those things, we wish away that negative, not knowing that the positive will go with it. Or we fall under the impression that our prayer or manifestation didn't work. So in this case, if I want the wisdom of what an accident would do to a human body, the cost is actually damaging a human body in an accident. But in this case, the crash test dummy that is often used in car crash tests becomes the sacrifice for that wisdom, so that we receive the wisdom, and the negative end of the ogun of what we receive is transferred onto that dummy. We get the wisdom without having to hurt a person. And I thought that was a pretty brilliant breakdown of how the negative ends of what we ask for can be transferred onto an animal, or transferred onto whatever we use to perform Itraja. But yeah, if you like this channel, man, that group chat. That group chat's on a different level. So, like I said, it's become my favorite part of the month. So yeah, if you're interested in having conversations like this and so forth, I highly, highly, highly welcome you guys to join at patreon.com/The Medicine Show. Anyways, back to the video. Now, this is an example of using Itraja to pay a cosmic debt by way of substitution. Oftentimes, when you ask for things from a force of nature, the negative that comes from it, or that comes with it, is transferred onto an animal, which then carries the negative ogun, or the unwanted ogun, of that which you ask to receive. While the accepted currency for the Abara differ, as currencies differ for people, one thing that is universally accepted by all is